Well, let's go ahead and get started. It's right around 5:30. It's about 5:31 or 5:32. Thank you all for being here. I'm going ahead and I'm recording this, but I've got down at least enough for a forum right now. I've got Elizabeth Hammer here, Jackie Mayfield, Chris Brady, Laura Lear, Sarah Downs, um, Cheryl Carby. Did I leave anybody out?
I think we lost Julie Martin.
I think we may have too. I'll watch and see if she comes back in. We'll put her on here because I had her listed as being somebody present. So, okay. Oh, here she comes back. So let me kind of tell you what we're up against and what we're dealing with tonight. It shouldn't take too long, but due to all the cancellations and changes that we've had around the COVID-19 and the coronavirus, we have technically missed 9 instructional days at this point. What we are trying to do is work out, and actually we were supposed to have teachers potentially working on the 27th for professional leave, but we're working that out. But we've got a situation where we think we can make up the days that are already been missed and still get out at a very early time. And the reason for that is that the legislature passed Senate Bill 177 that the governor signed into law, and it allowed for emergency days around COVID-19. So what we are also looking at is with those instructional days, is there a way that we can make up or ask the board to potentially forgive some of the time, since we technically by law have to have 1,062 hours in 171 days. And as we've discussed in previous meetings, Jefferson County actually goes for 175 student days. So I'm going to share with you our proposal that I've kind of developed to let you take a look at here. This is going to be for the current school year. Can y'all see that calendar now?
Yes. Right. Not
Okay.
the bottom.
So what this has, you'll notice that everything is the same until we get down to really March. We have marked these 9 days here as COVID-19 days out of school, and that's over here on this side of the screen for the symbol, what that is. Then we use today actually as a non-instructional day, and it was originally scheduled to be an instructional day. So that put us at 10 of our instructional days that we've lost. The big difference on this calendar is that originally, so I'm looking at the right calendar here, we were supposed to be scheduled to be out on May 1st, which was going to be Oaks Day. Derby and Oaks have all been postponed until September, and that will get us to our next calendar in a few minutes. And then we were also scheduled to be out for the primary election day on the 19th, and that has been postponed. So what we are looking at this point is if we take these days and make May 1st and the 19th instructional days. We were originally scheduled to be out as the last day for students on the 28th, I believe it is. And we'd have the 29th, June 1st, June 2nd, June 3rd, gives us 6 days that we would make up. And again, that includes May 1st and May 19th. What we would do is ask the board to forgive those days, and the way that those COVID-19 emergency days are set up, we could actually give employees 4 emergency days that would also not have the employees making up those days as long as they're below a 260 calendar, which would mean instructional staff or teachers for the most part, the 187 staff would be finished on June 4th. Now, depending on your working calendar, that will vary a little bit. But this would be the last day for teachers if we went with this calendar that I've got in front of me. So what really comes down to is we've missed 10 days. We're going to ask the board to forgive 4 of those instructional days and also use 4 of those as COVID emergency 19 days, meaning we would make up 6 days, which would be May 1st, May 19th, May 29th, June 1st, June 2nd, and June 3rd. What questions do you have?
If we agree to this, this goes to the board for approval.
Right. What we're doing is we as a committee make a recommendation to the board for a school calendar. So this is one of the things that we're looking at that I've discussed with Dr. Polio, and we've looked at what would be the possibilities. And so our recommendation would be to the board, here's what we're looking at to change our calendar this year.
And if we don't, then our last day would be, teacher's last day would be June 10th. Students' last day would be June 9th.
Right. If we didn't do the forgiveness of the days like that.
And then if we didn't use the election or Oaks Day, then we'd actually go 2 days longer.
Correct.
Right. Okay. And then I know, because I'm on a 220 calendar, and normally we would add our makeup days to the end of June, but we work the days before spring break because they said we could. We worked 4 extra days that we would have had to make up. If those 4 emergency days are granted by the board, how does that affect the days that we've already worked that would then be forgiven?
I've already worked those calendars out, and what I've done to that is build in 4 days that would be forgiven for each of the calendars. I don't have that in front of me right now, but the working calendar would fall from this, and those days would actually be applied to everyone who has a calendar that is less than 260-day calendar.
What would happen if we are not able to return to school in May? You know, or if we just, once the 6 weeks NTI time is up, how would that affect the calendar?
At this point, there's not been anything said that we end after 6 weeks of NTI. We've been told to prepare for at least 6 weeks of NTI. It may be extended. We may return. So the whole point of this would be these would all become instructional days, whether they're traditional instructional days or non-traditional instruction days.
Okay, thank you.
So we would work on, or the school would be in session on Friday, May 1st, and then also that Tuesday, May 19th.
That is correct, yes, because May 1st was originally scheduled for Oaks Day. It is now moved to September. And then May 19th was the primary election day that has been postponed.
Okay.
So actually, if we didn't do this, the 10th would be the last student day. The 11th would be the last teacher day. But if we
have to get 4 more days in there, so
adjustments,
students would be here on the 4th, the 5th, the 8th, and the 9th, and then the students would end up being on the 10th. I mean, the teachers would be on the 10th.
okay.
Will this affect any of the employees' contracts or any different groups with it doing this?
Everybody will get paid their full contract days for the days they're scheduled.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so it looks good. Looks good. I mean, we've got to put something out there, so I think it looks good. I hope. Are we sure that they're going to be able to, or is Bashir going to give us those days, those 10 days? You think?
The COVID emergency 19 days have already been approved and signed into legislation by the governor, so they've been approved. I checked with the interim commissioner, Kevin Brown, to verify, is this something we can do with this? And he said they were designed for this type of purpose. So are there any objections to that one or any other questions, or are you all comfortable with me going ahead and moving this one forward for the board meeting?
This is fine. I don't object.
I'm comfortable.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
I think
comfortable.
it's a good solution.
Okay.
I as well agree. I think it's a good one.
Okay. Well, that's what we'll do for that one. And I will get that ready for the board meeting. We may have a board meeting later this week or early next week, just around school closing due to the coronavirus. So I will get that ready for that meeting. The next calendar that I want to share with you deals with part of what we just discussed. Give me just a second to get it on the screen. This calendar is for next school year. And the reason it deals with what we just discussed is that since the Derby has been moved to Labor Day weekend, Oaks Day will now fall, Oaks Day 2020 will fall on September 9th. And that also means we're going to have 2 Oaks Days during that month or during that academic year. But what I have done on this one is the proposal right now for you all to consider is we make that a non-instructional day. Basically just no school, no one reports that would normally report on that day. And then move the May 25th is our original last day for students, and the 26th was the last day for teachers. I've just moved those back by 1 day to where it would be May 26th for the last day for students and May 27th for the last day for teachers. I have to go back in and do a little bit of work to see how that alters the grading periods, but we've got some time to figure that out anyway.
So we won't need to start any earlier then, correct?
We do not see any reason to even do that at this point. We would start at a normal time, and hopefully that's given time for everything to get back to what we know is normal. And we'll be able to finish next school year without any hesitation whatsoever. Other questions on that one?
I think because it's so far out, that's the only logical change you could make at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks good to me.
Okay. Any other
I'm
questions
good.
or comments? Okay.
I mean, the only other option if we kept the end date the same would be we'd be going 174 days instead of 175 days.
Potentially, but that also
Yeah.
gets into our 187-day contracts and everything else that we would have around that.
So it's kind of like we don't really have a choice
think
unless
it-
we take a day that's already off and make it a school day then.
That would be a trade out that we could do. And if you'll remember, we originally, at our last meeting or one of our meetings, actually our first meeting this year, this was mistakenly set. The May 26th was mistakenly, I'm sorry, May 27th was mistakenly set. No, I take that back. I was right. May 26th was mistakenly set as the last day when it was going to be the 25th when we counted that up. And so we made that change, and this just puts it back to where that was.
Yeah.
So are you all comfortable with me putting that before the board? This would actually not go until the April 21st board meeting. We wouldn't put this on the emergency meeting or special call meeting just because it doesn't really, it deals with COVID-19, but not the way that the other items are.
I'm good.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just said I'm good.
The contract days are still there. Everyone's still good
Yeah.
with their contract days.
Yes, all contract days would stay the same.
Yes, it looks good to me.
Okay. That's really all I've got on our agenda tonight. Do you all have any other questions or anything that we need to touch base on?
I mean, I
Probably-
have a question. I just don't know if other people know about it. So I don't know if you want me to ask you through email or.
If you want to send me something through email, then I'll be glad to answer that. And if it deals with the whole committee, I'll make sure everybody's aware of it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yep. Thanks, Jimmy.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time and have a good evening, and we'll consider this meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Here, thank you. Hey, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Bye.